Welcome back. Today we're tackling one of the hardest questions anyone can ask, believer or skeptic alike. If there's a loving, all powerful God, why does the world look like this? Why pain? Why loss? Why disease, cruelty, and disasters? Philosophers call this the problem of evil, the tension between a good God and a world that hurts. Let me be clear up front. There is no single airtight answer. But there are ways to think about this that don't explain pain away. They help us understand what kind of a world could contain both meaning and suffering. And beneath all of its deeper question, not why this happened, but is anyone here with me? Let's briefly look at four classic ways thinkers have approached this, not as doctrines, but as lenses. Number one, free will, the cost of real love for love or goodness to mean anything. They must be freely chosen. If humans were programmed to always do the right thing, we might behave perfectly, but we wouldn't be good. We'd be machines. So if God creates beings capable of real love, creativity, and responsibility, he must also allow the possibility of harm. Pain isn't designed, it's permitted, as the cost of meaningful freedom. That doesn't make pain good, but it may explain why eliminating it entirely would eliminate love with it. Two, soul making. Growth requires resistance. Philosopher John Hick described life as a veil of soul making. You don't develop courage without danger. You don't develop compassion without suffering. You don't develop forgiveness without being wronged. Pain isn't punishment, it's friction, and friction is what makes growth possible. Most people, regardless of belief, recognize this. The hardest seasons often shape us more than the easiest ones. Three, natural law. A stable world has side effects. But what about suffering unrelated to human choice? Cancer, earthquakes, genetic disease. For life to exist in a coherent universe, natural laws must operate consistently. Gravity keeps us grounded, and sometimes it kills us. Plate tectonics makes the earth habitable, and sometimes they destroy cities. If God constantly suspended physics to prevent harm, the world would become chaotic and unlivable. A world stable enough to support life may also be dangerous enough to hurt in it. Number four, divine hiddenness, freedom without coercion. If God's presence were overwhelming and undeniable, belief wouldn't be chosen, it would be compelled. Ambiguity creates space to seek, to question, even to reject. God's hiddenness may not be absence, but restraint. So maybe the question isn't which explanation wins. Maybe it's what kind of world would be required for love and meaning to exist at all. From biology, pain protects us. From psychology, emotional pain drives empathy and repair. And from philosophy, freedom requires risk. A world capable of meaning may necessarily include pain. And if that's true, the real question becomes, if God exists, what does he do about it? This is where Christianity makes a unique claim. If a creator allows a free world where suffering is inevitable, one moral problem remains. Can the one who allows this world remain untouched by its pain? If so, that's power, not love. The cross answers this directly, not as divine cruelty, but as divine participation. It claims that God does not stand above suffering, he enters it. He becomes subject to biology, violence, time, and death. Love bears the cost of the freedom it gives. Remove the cross, and Christianity collapses into moral advice. Include it, and it becomes coherent. A God who chooses presence over control. But there's one final problem. If suffering and death have the last word, then love, however noble, ultimately loses. For love to be more than a beautiful tragedy, death cannot be final. That's where the resurrection comes in, not as mythological add-on, but as a logical necessity. It says suffering is real, but not ultimate. Evil acts, but does not define the end. The risen Christ still bears scars. That matters. It means pain isn't erased or denied. It's redeemed. What's broken is healed, not forgotten. So maybe the real question isn't, why does God allow pain? Maybe it's, what kind of God would choose to enter it? Whatever you think of the Shroud of Turin, it points towards this idea. A God who doesn't explain suffering from above, but meets it from within. That doesn't solve the problem of evil, but it shifts the focus from explanation to presence, from control to companionship. Because maybe the ultimate answer to suffering isn't an argument. Maybe it's a person, marked by wounds, not by distance. And maybe, just maybe, that's what love would look like if love were the deepest truth of all.